Okay, in this screencast, we are going to look at ALG problem 19.5.2. I'm going to do a demonstration with bulbs in series and bulbs in parallel. They're identical light bulbs, and we're going to build a circuit first using a battery, wires, and a bulb. So we're going to do this one first. Then you're going to see I'm going to add a second bulb in series. So there are two identical bulbs in series. That means they're in line with each other. And then in part B, we're just going to flip the order. So instead of the current going this way around the circuit into 2 first and then 1, we're flipping bulb 1 and 2 so that bulb 1 gets the current first and bulb 2 gets it second. And we'll see if that affects the brightness of the bulbs. In other words, in what order they're placed. Then we're going to have two bulbs in parallel with each other. As you see over here, that's going to be in step D, part C, down here. And we're going to check the brightness of the bulbs and they're in parallel. And then we're going to build circuit E with a third bulb over on this side. So these two are going to be in series, and this one's going to be in parallel with those two, but it'll be all by itself. And then we're going to try to answer part D. Okay, so look for the video on the next page. I'm going to do an activity right now, a demonstration of activity 19.5.2 in your active learning guide. So ALG 19.5.2, it's on Schoology. And basically we're going to look at the brightness of bulbs, one bulb by itself, two bulbs in series, and then we'll flip the two bulbs in which order they're in, see if that affects the brightness. Then we'll put two bulbs in parallel, and then we'll put one bulb in parallel with two others, and we'll just compare the brightness in the different situations. So what I'm going to have is this kind of arrangement here of light bulbs. You can kind of see that I've got all the same bulb. They're all round bulbs, a little different than the round bulb we had before, but they're all the same kind of round bulb. And then for the first one, I've got the black terminal connected over here across this bulb. There's the red terminal right there on the other side of the bulb. And the red side goes to a switch right here, and which is open right now. And then the switch and the black terminal go to 3 D-sized batteries. So I've got 4.5 volts across that. So I'm going to go ahead and close the switch. We're going to see how bright that bulb is. Okay, I don't know if you can probably see it there the best. So it's pretty bright. All right, now we're going to put two bulbs in series and see how that compares. So I close this, and then I will move this over to here, open my switch. Okay, if you can compare that brightness to now I've got two bulbs in series, they're lit, not quite as bright. Okay, so now the current is going from the positive terminal of the battery through this light bulb, around and down through this bulb, and back to the negative terminal of the battery. So that's called in series. Maybe it's easier if I flip that around there. Okay, so that's what that looks like. All right, you can see here the current goes up and then back this way. All right, now we're going to place, we're going to reverse the order. So instead of having the current going through this one first and then through that one, flip it around for item C, see if that affects the brightness. Since they looked to be about the same brightness, probably you're thinking that's not going to change it much. Really doesn't look like it changes it much, right? Whether it's 1, 2, or 2, 1 in that schematic in the book, it's not much difference. Okay, the next one, we are going to have two in parallel. All right, to have them in parallel, I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to connect these two like that. I don't know if you can tell, but much brighter than having just the two. There we go. Much brighter than having just the two in series. So for some reason, two in parallel is much brighter. I'm gonna have to create a new video for the last one, for part E. Okay, here's the one where you've got the one bulb in parallel with the two together. So the two together in series, I show that right here. You can barely, this one is lit barely. This one's even dimmer, slightly dimmer. This one's real bright. This is the one all by itself in parallel with these two. Okay, so this one I can only see that it's lit. I don't even imagine you can even probably see how dim that is. I just knocked Einstein off. It's hard to see that. The one you can see. This one you can kind of tell is lit. This one's almost out, but still very dimly lit. This one's real bright. So that's part E, right?